My concern is not whether God is on our side. My greatest concern is to be on God's side, for God is always right. How many legs does a dog have if you call his tail a leg? 4. Saying that a tail is a leg doesn't make it a leg. Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree and I will spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. You cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading it today. You can fool all the people some of the time, and some of the people all the time, but you cannot fool all the people all the time. Most folks are as happy as they make up their minds to be. I don't like that man. I must get to know him better. Always bear in mind that your own resolution to succeed is more important than any other. I am not bound to win, but I am bound to be true. I am not bound to succeed, but I am bound to live by the light that I have. I must stand with anybody that stands right, and stand with him while he is right, and part with him when he goes wrong. All that I am, or hope to be, I owe to my angel mother. Be sure you put your feet in the right place, then stand firm. The philosophy of the school room in one generation will be the philosophy of government in the next. Character is like a tree and reputation like a shadow. The shadow is what we think of it. The tree is the real thing. No man has a good enough memory to be a successful liar. The ballot is stronger than the bullet. I am a slow walker, but I never walk back. I will prepare and someday my chance will come. When I do good, I feel good. When I do bad, I feel bad, and that's my religion. It has been my experience that folks who have no vices have very few virtues. Don't worry when you are not recognized, but strive to be worthy of recognition. We the people are the rightful masters of both Congress and the courts, not to overthrow the Constitution, but to overthrow the men who pervert the Constitution. I do the very best I know how, the very best I can, and I mean to keep on doing so until the end. I have always found that mercy bears richer fruits than strict justice. I am a firm believer in the people. If given the truth, they can be depended upon to meet any national crisis. The great point is to bring them the real facts. My great concern is not whether you have failed, but whether you are content with your failure. With malice toward none, with charity for all, with firmness in the right, as God gives us to see the right. Let us strive on to finish the work we are in, to bind up the nation's wounds. Government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. As I would not be a slave, so I would not be a master. This expresses my idea of democracy. The highest art is always the most religious, and the greatest artist is always a devout person. I like to see a man proud of the place in which he lives. I like to see a man live so that his place will be proud of him. My dream is of a place and a time where America will once again be seen as the last best hope of Earth. Marriage is neither heaven nor hell. It is simply purgatory. The probability that we may fail in the struggle ought not to deter us from the support of a cause we believe to be just. If this is coffee, please bring me some tea. But if this is tea, please bring me some coffee. Do I not destroy my enemies when I make them my friends? He has a right to criticize who has a heart to help. That some achieve great success is proof to all that others can achieve it as well. The shepherd drives the wolf from the sheep's throat, for which the sheep thanks the shepherd as his liberator, while the wolf denounces him for the same act as the destroyer of liberty. Plainly, the sheep and the wolf are not agreed upon a definition of liberty. I remember my mother's prayers, and they have always followed me. They have clung to me all my life. Those who deny freedom to others deserve it not for themselves, and under the rule of a just God, cannot long retain it. I do not think much of a man who is not wiser today than he was yesterday. The best way to get a bad law repealed is to enforce it strictly. This country, with its institutions, belongs to the people who inhabit it. Whenever they shall grow weary of the existing government, they can exercise their constitutional right of amending it, or exercise their revolutionary right to overthrow it. Labor is prior to and independent of capital. Capital is only the fruit of labor and could never have existed if labor had not first existed. Labor is the superior of capital and deserves much the higher consideration. No man is good enough to govern another man without the other's consent. Discourage litigation. Persuade your neighbors to compromise whenever you can. As a peacemaker, the lawyer has superior opportunity of being a good man. There will still be business enough. A house divided against itself cannot stand. Every man is said to have his peculiar ambition, whether it be true or not. I can say, for one, that I have no other so great as that of being truly esteemed of my fellow men, by rendering myself worthy of their esteem. How far I shall succeed in gratifying this am. We should be too big to take offense and too noble to give it. A friend is one who has the same enemies as you have. At what point then is the approach of danger to be expected? I answer, if it ever reach us, it must spring up amongst us. It cannot come from abroad. If destruction be our lot, we must ourselves be its author and finisher. As a nation of free men, we must live through all time, or avoid popularity if you would have peace. You have to do your own growing no matter how tall your grandfather was. Tact is the ability to describe others as they see themselves. The things I want to know are in books. My best friend is a man who'll get me a book I ain't read. I care not much for a man's religion whose dog and cat are not the better for it. Let not him who is houseless pull down the house of another, but let him work diligently, and build one for himself, thus by example assuring that his own shall be safe from violence when built. A woman is the only thing I am afraid of that I know will not hurt me. Let's have faith that right makes might, and in that faith let us, to the end, dare to do our duty as we understand it. All the armies of Europe, Asia and Africa combined, with all the treasure of the earth, our own accepted in their military chest, with a Bonaparte for a commander, could not by force take a drink from the Ohio, or make a track on the Blue Ridge, in a trial of 1,000 years. Surely God would not have created such a being as man, with an ability to grasp the infinite, to exist only for a day. No, no, man was made for immortality. Important principles may, and must, be inflexible. I don't know who my grandfather was. I am much more concerned to know what his grandson will be. Standing as I do, with my hand upon this staff, and under the folds of the American flag, I ask you to stand by me, so long as I stand by it. I want it said of me by those who knew me best, that I always plucked a thistle, and planted a flower where I thought a flower would grow. Stand with anybody that stands right. Stand with him while he is right, and part with him when he goes. What kills a skunk is the publicity it gives itself. We here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Never regret what you don't write.